Win a turkey feast tonight at 7.
Proud to serve northeastern and central Pennsylvania. This is WNEP 16, the news station. Now, Frank Andrews, Marisa Burke, meteorologist Noreen Clark, and J. Christopher Sports. This is Newswatch 16, midday.
Good afternoon, everyone. 9,200 Mack Trucks employees are getting a 23 cents an hour raise and a bonus for okaying a new labor contract. But the new contract also calls for the closing of 2 machine shops in Allentown that could affect 1,200 people. The Mack Trucks workers went on strike last month and walked picket lines for 9 days. Then on October 30th, when these pictures were taken, the Mack employees went back to work. Over the weekend, they voted on the contract offer, and it has been okayed. The contract also calls for a moratorium on plant closings for 3 years, but that does not include the 2 machine shops that were already marked to be shut down in Allentown. Allentown is headquarters for Mack, the nation's second largest heavy-duty truck maker. We have 2 notes on teacher strikes today. The school board and the teachers in the Crestwood School District go to Luzerne County Court tomorrow morning. A hearing is set on the board's request for a court order that would get teachers off the picket line and back to class. Now, the Crestwood strike has been going on since October 11th. There are 125 teachers, 2,400 students in that mountaintop district. And another round of talks is set for tomorrow morning in the Wilkes-Barre area school district. The teachers there went on strike for 1 day, closing 14 schools and affecting nearly 9,000 students. But they've been in class since that 1-day strike November 1st. Tomorrow's negotiations are set for 10 a.m. in downtown Wilkes-Barre. Quite a few local schools have the day off today in observance of Veterans Day. In a moment, details on one local observance. But first, a very moving and a very touching ceremony in Washington, where President Reagan addressed a crowd of veterans, including many Vietnam-era soldiers.
It was a traditional Veterans Day at Arlington Cemetery, but the main event was over on the Mall, where a vast crowd of Vietnam veterans watched as the Vietnam Veterans Memorial, with its new statue, was turned over to the U.S. government as a national monument. President Reagan, who flew back from California to be there, told Vietnam veterans they were no longer America's forgotten warriors.
And now we can say to you, and say as a nation, thank you for your courage. Thank you for being patient with your countrymen.
Thank you.
It was the first time a U.S. president had addressed such a gathering of Vietnam veterans, and reconciliation and healing were in the air. General Westmoreland, who commanded U.S. troops in Vietnam, was there, searching the memorial for the name of his brother-in-law killed in action in Vietnam in 1968. The highest general down to the lowest enlisted man, all there for the same reason, to remember the past. It brought back painful memories for some of lost relatives and friends, bitter memories for others that no one had cared when they came home from the war. But for the Vietnam veterans who came to Washington this weekend, it seemed they and the country were perhaps finally coming to terms with Vietnam. Jack Smith, ABC News, Washington.
Newswatch 16 Midday continues in a moment with a new industry born in outer space. The shuttle crew is making repair calls 125 miles up in the heavens. We'll show you some spectacular pictures in a moment.
Hurry in for savings during the Value Spectacular at Stroud. Save on the GE Spacemaker Coffee Maker with Clock Timer. Mounts under cabinets to save counter space. Only $49.94. The GE Spacemaker Can Opener and Electric Knife are priced to save money and more counter space. Just one low sale price for the GE Speakerphone with hands-free operation, or the GE Instant Access Memory Phone. Your choice, only $87.94. Shop the Value Spectacular today at Stroud's, 2 locations.
We have some spectacular pictures today from outer space. Pictures of astronaut Joe Allen capturing a broken-down satellite in outer space. Now, the salvage mission started just before 9 this morning. Allen, using the Buck Rogers space pack, left the shuttle and headed towards a disabled Indonesian communication satellite. Then he used what's called the stinger, a type of bracket that hooked up to the satellite. Now, if you look real closely, you can actually see Allen spinning with the disabled satellite. You'll actually see his boots going around. Now, the next step in this is astronaut Anna Fisher. From inside the shuttle, she'll use the Discovery's long arm to grab the satellite, pull it into the cargo bay, and it'll be brought home for repair. NASA says it's the beginning of a new industry in outer space. Well, for the first time in 5 years, non-stop trips from Wilkes-Barre Scranton's International Airport to Washington National Airport will start tomorrow. Pocono Airlines officials say the Allegheny commuter will leave Avoca every weekday at 7:30, 10 to noon, and 4:40 in the afternoon, bound for Washington non-stop. Return flights are set for 10, 3, and 6:30. The new service is the first non-stop airline service from Avoca to Washington National since 1979. Well, we had talk of snow flurries this morning, and it seemed like Old Man Winter was here. Let's find out what it's like right now. Norrie?
And we have those very light snow flurries showing up right now over a good portion of the area. Could we see an accumulation? Find out from the backyard when we return.
What I need are snow tires. What I don't need is a snow job. That's why I come to McCarthy Tire. While I relax with free coffee, the McCarthy Snow Tire team spin balances and installs the General Snow Tires that are exactly right for my needs. And before you know it...
Your snow tires are on, Melanie.
Now that's what I call service.
Save on high-quality General Snow Tires. On sale now at all 5 regional McCarthy locations.
McCarthy even cleaned the white walls.
Paul Newman battles it out.
You think you can tell us where he is? Because I'm pretty angry today. Well, I don't keep tabs on him.
Mexican Bulls put Newman in the can.
Hey, you haven't got a real knack with people, cowboy.
You're the one that's going to have to pay. Now, you better know that.
The bottom is falling out of the rodeo market. Everybody's going to take a dive, me worst of all.
When there's money around here, I smell cash.
Today at 4 on WNEP TV 16.
Welcome back, everyone. There's nothing like talk of snow to get everybody's interest up. Everybody here is wondering what you mean by accumulation. Is there any coming?
Well, as it stands right now, Frank, most of the snow flurry activity right now looks like it's very light over the area and will cause no significant accumulation. In fact, there's some falling right now in the backyard. But in some of the highest elevations, we're talking about the Poconos and the Endless Mountains, there could be a heavier snow shower, and that could leave a dusting over the area, making the ground look white. But in most areas, the snow flurries will have no consequence. Let's check our current readings from the backyard, and with a snow flurry, the temperature is now a chilly 39 degrees. The wind chill makes it feel like 25 degrees above. The winds are out of the northwest, and they're cold at 12 miles per hour, and that barometric pressure is holding steady at the present. And this morning's satellite picture shows the storm area that passed over Pennsylvania yesterday. The dark clouds are now over New England. Behind this, cold air is surging in on strong northwesterly winds. Temperatures were below freezing from the Rockies all the way through the Appalachians. In fact, the cold, freezing temperatures extended down into northern Louisiana and Mississippi. A very cold air mass. In fact, along with the cold air coming in, it's very unstable, and it's producing some snow flurry activity. Last night, the snow over the Great Lakes in Ohio Valley added up between 1 and 3 inches. Over the western portions of the state, between 1 and 1.5 inches. So it was quite light out there, and most of the stations that I was able to glance at, they didn't report anything at 7 o'clock this morning, so it was very light in the western portion of Pennsylvania. As it moves to the east, I'm expecting it to continue to be light, so most of the accumulations will have no significance. Along with this wind, we will have the wind chill factor right into tomorrow, but it will be under partly cloudy skies, and as we head through the week, there will be a little bit of a warm-up. Let's check the forecast for this afternoon, and we're looking for a blustery afternoon ahead with snow flurries over much of the area. Down where the temperatures are warmer, there could be some sprinkles or a shower, but generally most of the area will see snow flurries today, and along with that, temperatures stand pretty much as you see them right here, but they will be falling from these levels through the afternoon hours, so it's going to get quite chilly this afternoon. And for tonight, it'll be mainly cloudy with more flurries moving through the area. A low in Blakely near 30 degrees by tomorrow morning. Bangor, a freezing 32. Roarsburg, 29. 28 in Warrensville. And Mifflintown near 29 degrees. And checking the forecast, we've got flurries not only this afternoon, but right into tonight. Temperatures dropping through the afternoon hours, a low near 30. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, but again, with a very gusty breeze. The high temperature near 40 degrees. It's going to be another chilly day. On Wednesday, bright sunshine, a high of 47. And on Thursday, sunny and milder with a high of 54. So this is the first widespread appearance of snow flurries over the area, Frank, and it does make it feel like winter.
But I can leave the shovel down in the basement, right?
Yes, leave it down there.
Thanks very much,
Keep it out
Maureen.
of sight.
Okay. Sports is next on Newswatch 16 midday. In a moment, Jay Christopher will have highlights of the Miami Dolphins' close win over the Eagles in Sunday football action, along with the rest of the scores for a pretty exciting weekend of sports. Newswatch 16 midday continues in a moment.
Furnishing northeastern Pennsylvania's homes for 88 years. We're Kaplan's of Scranton.
No two people relax alike. That's why People Lounger invented the Motion Sofa. This is just one of many styles and coverings available at Kaplan's, designed so you can relax while the person next to you remains in a sitting position. Also available as a love seat.
From start to furnish, Kaplan's of Scranton, Route 6, Beaumont Heights.
I'll tell you, that weekend of football is going to be a tough act to follow, but I think we might do it tonight.
There'll be a good one on TV tonight,
Absolutely.
right here on ABC and 16. Hello again, everybody. It'll be Monday Night Football beginning at 9, ABC and 16. It'll be a good one. We'll see just what the defending Super Bowl champion Los Angeles Raiders are made of. They're beat up right now, and they've got a lot of hurting bodies, especially in the quarterback department. Tonight, they'll face the best defense in the league, the Seattle Seahawks, who have scored shutouts in their last 2 games. 9 o'clock tonight is airtime. Well, Sunday in the NFL, let's go to the electric scoreboard. New England slugs Buffalo 38-10. Indianapolis barely over the Jets 9-5. Houston wins their first, beating KC 17-16. Washington destroys Detroit 28-14. Green Bay blows by Minnesota 45-17. New Orleans waltzes by Atlanta 17-13. Miami still undefeated. They come from behind to beat Philadelphia 24-23. In that game, the Dolphins trail 14-0 in the second quarter when Dan Marino found Tony Nathan to close the gap. Then Miami built a 24-17 lead, but Ron Jaworski hit Mel Hoover on this beauty in the fourth, 24-23. The extra point try was blocked by Doug Betters. Jaworski can't believe it. Oh. Elsewhere, Cincinnati handcuffs Pittsburgh 22-20. The LA Rams upset Chicago 29-13. The Rams trail 13-6 here in the third period. Quarterback Jeff Kemp unloaded this rainbow to Henry Ellard, who wrestled the ball away from Chicago's Mike Richardson to trim the Bears' lead to 1 point. Then Eric Dickerson, who went over 100 yards, scored 2 fourth-quarter TDs for the Rams' victory. San Francisco 49ers dumped on Cleveland 41-7. Joe Montana hit Freddie Solomon twice for touchdowns to keep San Francisco in first place in the NFC Western Division. Elsewhere in the league, Denver sidelined San Diego 16-13. In that one, Sammy Winder's 1-yard plunge late in the fourth period gave the Broncos the win and boosted their record to 10-1. Tampa Bay tripped the New York Giants 20-17, and Dallas defeated the St. Louis Cardinals 24-17. Gary Hogeboom, playing for the injured Danny White, connected with Ron Springs late in the game for the winning TD, bumping St. Louis out of first place of the NFC East. That's the scoreboard. Week 11 of the NFL. Last night in the NHL, Edmonton's 15-game win streak came to an end as Philadelphia's Flyers stopped the Oilers 7-5. Minnesota tripped Toronto 7-6. St. Louis and Boston, they tied at 1 in overtime. Los Angeles Kings, they dealt the New York Rangers a 4-2 loss. In that one, Rangers goalie Glenn Hanlon made a point-blank save on this play, but Anders Hawkinson flipped home the loose puck. And Mark Hardy, he put on the finishing touch with this rocket from the point. Kings win it 4-2. One other game, Winnipeg barely over Buffalo, 3-2. Only 2 games in the NBA Sunday. Portland bagged Golden State 109-97. The LA Lakers whipped New Jersey's Nets by 10 last night at the Forum. James Worthy, he squeezed the trigger on the Lakers' fast break. He had 22. Magic Johnson, he scored 20, going coast to coast on this one for 2 as the Lakers beat the Nets 121-111. How about this? Nazareth, Pennsylvania resident Mario Andretti captured the 1984 IndyCar Championship yesterday with a second-place finish in the 200-miler in Las Vegas. It was his first championship since '69. Tom Sneva finished first yesterday. Andretti finished with 176 points. Sneva was second, then Bobby Rahal, Danny Sullivan, and Rick Mears. A big win for Mario. Congratulations, Mario. Saturday afternoon, the right of your screen, Irving in red, Larry Bird in white, some elbowing and punching. Bird will eventually hit the deck, as you'll see momentarily. There's Bird on the deck. It was the spark for the first fist-throwing brawl that erupted when both benches cleared. Irving and Bird were ejected from the game that Boston eventually won big. The NBA is reviewing the video. Possible fines and suspension could be announced today or tomorrow morning. And that's
It's like they're picking up where they left off. Last year we had some of that on the court.
They are completely out of character.
Thank you very much. Newswatch 16 Midday continues in a moment with a trip to the World's Fair on closing day. Now, we'll tell you about the fair in New Orleans and about some dubious records it set when Newswatch 16 Midday returns.
Save all the way to the mailbox in Acme's half-price Christmas card sale. For 48 hours, Tuesday and Wednesday, a box of 20 cards, normally $10, is only $5. And there's a manufacturer rebate of $4. You can save $9. Get 20 cards for just $1, a nickel apiece. Or use your rebate for postage to mail 20 beautiful cards like these. Either way, you'll save all the way to the mailbox in the half-price Christmas card sale this Tuesday and Wednesday only at Acme.
And finally, this midday, a big finish for a World's Fair that was not much of a success all year long. It's the World's Fair in New Orleans. It's closed now. It goes down in history as the losingest World's Fair on record. Now, the irony of the closing is this. On the last day, which was yesterday, by the way, the biggest crowd in its 6-month run showed up. Fair organizers say if they had crowds like that all summer, they wouldn't have had to file for bankruptcy. Now the banks get everything, including piled up trash left behind because maintenance workers have been laid off, and even some rubber checks that bounce because of red ink. The New Orleans World's Fair, it is closed now, but it had a big finish to a very slow 6 months. And that's all we have time for Newswatch 16 Midday. Remember, we'll have more on the weather, the snow flurries, and all of that tonight at 6. We'll also have more on the observance of Veterans Day. And for all the veterans who indeed are observing today, a very happy and best wish for all of you from Newswatch 16 Midday. Have a good day, everyone.